Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee. Whether you're searching for a baseball autographed by your favorite World Series slugger, a signed football by an iconic Hall of Famer, or the jersey of a world-famous soccer star, you've come to the right place. Here at sportsmemorabilia.com, the web's leading source of authentic sports memorabilia, you'll find more than 500,000 authentic products from nearly every professional sports league, team, and player. Not only will you find your next prized sports possession with ease thanks to superb customer service and tremendous site experience, but you'll have the satisfaction and peace of mind that every product listed comes complete with a certificate of authenticity and is fully backed by the sportsmemorabilia.com lifetime authenticity guarantee.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
And we are off and running here on Midnight Run. It is 12:02. There I am, and welcome to the show. I was supposed to fade there. I forgot to hit the fade button there. Welcome to the show. Double A here with you. No golden child, Eli Moon. He has to show off. In fact, he will be on a flight coming up about 7 hours from right now. So I'm like, dude, get some rest, go to bed, have some fun. He will be in Texas, has a couple of performances out in Southern Texas. He'll be in San Antonio. So it's going to be pretty exciting. In fact, after tonight, no show for me on Sunday for the main event. Eli's in San Antonio. Rob Rizicki will be at Disney World, and I will be enjoying good old March Madness. Folks, let me tell you, I have already – I don't want to risk swinging my camera over because then I'll lose the signal, and then I don't have a producer. So the show's done. If I lose signal, that's the end of the show. But I have here in my home office a double TV setup. I have a computer ready to go because here's the thing here locally. We, of course, have March Madness. On the men's side, Ohio State plays at the time that they know best, big noon. They play 12 hours from right now. So Ohio State's going to be going. Of course, I still got to work and still be productive on the job. So I can't just migrate over while I'm supposed to be working. So I have the game set up here. I'm a huge basketball nut. So Friday is going to be crazy because we're going to have the women's tournament as well. And the boys high school basketball state championships is going to take place on Friday. So I got a computer back there ready to go for the boys high school basketball state finals for that. I think locally, Glenville, I think, is in the final. Kirtland from the Chagrin Valley Conference here locally in Northeast Ohio, they're in the state final. So that's all day Friday. Like, that's going to be crazy. I got wrestling on Friday night as well with SmackDown. Randy Orton, we're going to hear from him. Who has he been talking to? We got a lot to cover. And on the wrestling side, by the way, little plug, Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast Friday morning. But for this next hour, we got a ton to get to. You've seen in the description. Coming up, you can make a case. Rob Manfred, to this point, better tenure than Adam Silver. as commissioner of their sports, coming off of an amazing World Baseball Classic. We'll talk about that coming up in a little bit. Also, Miami of Ohio. I had to write this down. 16 of 41 from three. 41 three-point attempts from Miami of Ohio. The Red Hawks, they won 89-79 over the SMU Mustangs. But they made 16 three-pointers. This is crazy. You got the Fanatics flag football competition. We'll talk about that. By the way, shout out to Fanatics, our sponsor here on the Inside Edge Network. But they're actually in the sporting news. We'll talk a little bit about that. And I set Facebook on fire the other day. Not literally. I posted a status. Who has a higher Q score in 2026? Michael Jordan or Michael B. Jordan? Whew. Yeah, we go dive into that. Let's start here with the Browns. Obviously, we are based here, our digital leader, based here in Cleveland with the Cleveland Browns. And a crazy, crazy trade proposal or rule proposal. Two proposals were submitted by teams. Of course, one of them was from Pittsburgh, but the other one, which has been heavily rumored, and we finally seen the result of it, of the proposal, is with the Browns. Right now, the rule is you can only trade draft picks 3 years in advance. That's it, 3 years. The Browns submitted a proposal today to the league office. They want 5 years of draft picks. Now, you immediately think a couple of things. Let me get my sip of coffee here for a second. You immediately think a couple of things. And by the way, I took yesterday off because the world almost ended, okay? So I was grieving yesterday. That's why I had the day off, all right? We're back. I thought my windows blew out yesterday at 9 a.m. So that's what I thought happened. I was thinking about my insurance. Anywho, when you see the Browns proposal, you think a few things. Number one, of course, it's the Browns. That's the first thing you think of. Of course, it's the Browns who does this. The second thing, once you get past, go figure, is them, you're thinking, boy, and probably the more likely option, they really, 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 really want to extend this Deshaun Watson thing for as long as they can. If you can leverage more picks, leverage more stuff, you can really extend out this Deshaun Watson situation. But the third option that's been floating around is perhaps the most intriguing. At first, you could say, ain't no way, ain't no way. And then usually somebody provides a never say never. You know, it's kind of like, oh, can you date this person? And it's like, no way, but never say never. That kind of situation. And maybe it can happen, maybe not. The third option, could this be a setup to trade Myles Garrett? Again, now we've been through this. We've been through this already. Last year, you remember the whole media tour last year. In fact, one of the biggest storylines heading into last year's Super Bowl was not Philadelphia and Kansas City. That was not the top storyline of last year's Super Bowl on Media Row. It was Myles Garrett. And it was Myles Garrett talking to anybody and everybody. Anybody and anybody that could listen, that would listen. Even a janitor. Telling whoever, I want out. I want out. And then we all know the rest of the story. The Cleveland Browns said, hey, we got bread. We go pay you. And Myles Garrett was like, hey, you know what? I guess I am a team player. Now, I want to emphasize this before we play what we're about to play. this has nothing to do, like Myles Garrett didn't say anything himself since. Myles Garrett has been publicly a model citizen, except when he's on the road driving. But inside the Browns locker room, outside the locker room, he's been a model citizen. And of course, this past season broke the single season sack record. So we can't accuse Myles Garrett of not playing hard. He's played very hard. He's statistically the greatest defensive end in NFL history. Statistically, he is. He has the sack record. So you take that into account, he's doing well. But I got to shout out my old coworker and buddy, Anthony Alford. We're going to play what he said today on 92.3 The Fan, because the way this was presented, if you put two and two together in classic Anthony Lima style, it clicks. It clicks. It's understood. Here's Lima talking with Jonathan Peterlin, Nick Wilson on 92.3 The Fan earlier today, reacting to the rule proposal with the Browns and what that can mean. This is courtesy of The Fan.
I think they're playing chess for once and not checkers, the Browns.
But are they good at chess?
They're not good at anything, not good at chutes and ladders. But I will say, hungry hippos, maybe. I will say that I think there's a method to his madness. I think this is about a Myles Garrett trade. I think he wants to land one of the most lopsided trades in NFL history, and that's what he's thinking about.
The problem is it's not 2 years ago.
Yeah, and he couldn't get it before. He couldn't get it last year. No one wanted the 3 first-round picks that Elliott Wolf says he was demanding.
Oh, I think he could absolutely get it now from a contender. Now the problem is, of course, you're not going to get upper echelon first-round picks. So to make up for it, he needs you to trade more than just 3 firsts. Like, if these are all going to be in the 28, 29, 30, 31, 32 range, then it's got to be even more draft capital than that. So that's what I think he's thinking. I think he thinks he's going to take advantage of another GM rather than, I know everybody's conventional wisdom is it's just going to be our GM that's going to get taken advantage of again.
So post June 1, should we be on Myles Garrett trade watch?
I think it's next year, honestly.
And again, that's courtesy of 92.3 The Fan. My guys, JP, Nick Wilson. You heard Anthony Lima on the phone there. And, I'm thinking about this and how it would play out. I mean, okay, if you go 5 years, if this rule does pass, and you could trade 5 years in advance, Myles Garrett at that point, and we'll go with the logic that Lima pointed out, a post June 1st, 2027 situation. Is there a team desperate enough to deliver a lopsided trade for Myles Garrett if they're that close to a championship? And I think after all the stuff we've seen over the last week with Max Crosby, by the way, one of the more craziest stories in all of sports, by the way, Max Crosby sharing on a podcast. Yeah, he showed up at the Ravens team facility, and he didn't see the head coach or the general manager until the end of the day. That never happened. That's wild. That is wild. Again, any player, but especially a star player, and you're traded, you're met at the door by the general manager. You're met that is crazy. And for Max Crosby to recognize that, they had buyer's remorse even before, basically while he was in the air. But back to this and Myles Garrett and what this could mean. Now, I think Lime was onto something here where you will hope that come 2027, the Browns are in a better position than they are right now. But we're all reasonable people, and if you're placing a bet, probably not, right? Unless unless good things happen. I do think good things will happen with Shedeur Sanders, but history tells us this time next year, the Browns may not be any further to a championship than they are right now. So is there a team out there desperate? Let's see how a trade – I'm trying to envision what a trade will look like if this 5-year proposal is accepted and voted on. Would a team give up a 2027 first, 2029 first, and 2031 first, and maybe a second, maybe a third somewhere? Or could you do one first, a couple seconds, a third, and a position player for Myles Garrett? Would a team like the Dallas Cowboys accept something like that? The running bet is that there would be a general manager. And remember what we talked about at the end of the NFL football season. Every single team, except the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks, everyone is on the clock. When you have a significant number of NFL head coaching changes, like we did this past season, including coaches that were coaching in the playoffs lose their jobs, and GMs move on, and with the understanding that the 2027 NFL draft class is loaded with skill position players and future franchise quarterbacks across the board, 2027 is a hard reset year for the NFL. And it would not surprise me one bit. The running bet, and the key is this, according to sources, Andrew Berry was the one who submitted this proposal. So if all that's true, Andrew Berry is the one that's trying. He's trying to play coy and trying to see if one of these general managers are going to be desperate. Is there going to be a team that is almost at the finish line of winning a Super Bowl, but they couldn't get that critical defensive stop that they needed to in the playoffs? They couldn't exactly get a pass rush going against Caleb Williams. They couldn't get a critical sack in the postseason against Sam Darnold. They couldn't get the necessary stops that they needed to disrupt the passing flows from Matthew Stafford. They had a great regular season. Is there a general manager that's going to bite? Oh, our defense was fine. We was able to sack Kyler Murray. Great. How come the following week you couldn't stop Caleb Williams? How come the following week you couldn't stop Patrick Mahomes? How come you're in a 27-24 shootout with a high-scoring team because you couldn't make critical stops? You couldn't stop Josh Allen. You couldn't stop Drake May. You're almost there, though. You're right there. You're having a special season. There's going to be a team out there, and the bet is there a team out there desperate? I think you could have something in place, and that's the inverse. Now, the flip side to all of this, Myles Garrett's going to be a year older than what he is right now. His value has never been higher than what it was last year. And if he didn't take that new contract, what it would be now with him setting the single season sack record. And the Browns would take a massive cap hit, something that they quite honestly can't afford on its own. But here's the critical part. I know we mentioned the cap hit and the penalties and all that stuff, and the Browns are kicking the can. The one critical part across the board on the NFL spectrum, there's going to be new television deals. Pay very close attention. The NFL right now is negotiating with Paramount, who owns CBS. They own CBS Sports. Pay very close attention to these TV deals in the because here's the thing. The NFL, they looked at the NBA. They looked at what NBC is paying for their NBA coverage, what Amazon is paying for their NBA coverage. Both of those networks, NFL partners, are paying more for the NBA than the NFL. Matter of fact, let me pull this up real quick. NBC. So right now, NBC is paying $2 billion for Sunday Night Football for the NFL per year. They are paying the NBA $2.5 billion per year for the NBA. We all know a lot more people watch the NFL than NBA basketball. But the dollars say otherwise. And the NFL is saying, screw all this because, and here's the key, in the current contracts that they have with the networks, they do have an opt-out in 2029. There is no greater entertainment property across television and across streaming. No greater property than NFL football. Nothing draws more interest than the NFL. The NFL is looking at everybody and saying, oh, you're going to pay the NBA this much? You're going to pay them this much? What do we draw versus what do they draw? So now they're negotiating with every network. Expect new television deals. To give you the skinny, expect new TV deals by September. By this September, expect new television deals across the board. And because of that, you're going to see the salary cap jump. So there's going to be more available spending for each team very, very soon. So that's something to be on the lookout for. AlleyRoseFragrances.com. AlleyRoseFragrances.com. That is where you need to be right now and get some unbelievable candles. I mean, it's fantastic stuff. And what makes them great, what makes Alley Rose Fragrances great, they do an unbelievable job when it comes to making your room smell good, obviously. Yeah, duh, that's the job of candles. But what also makes them great is natural ingredients that my friend Allison uses from AlleyRoseFragrances.com. Is natural ingredients with the candles, and it's an even lit. And with the spring season coming up, you got to get the new spring candles. You got to make it happen right now. AlleyRoseFragrances.com. AlleyRoseFragrances.com. And when you go, if you're a first-time customer, and here's the cool thing. First-time customer, and let me just show you some of the things here. They got body mist as well. So a couple of great things you can get. I mean, look at all these. And folks, I joked the other day, we get snowfall, you might as well get a Christmas tree candle too. Might as well. That's a good one. Lavender, that's a really good one. But I have a spring candle on the way. It will be here. I'll show it to you on Monday. But you got to get it. AlleyRoseFragrances.com. If you're a first-time customer, type in the promo code InsideEdge20. You get 20% off your order. Stack it up. Everybody. This is not just this is not just for women. Every person should strive to have a nice smelling home. I can't have this home office if this place doesn't smell good. Alley Rose Fragrances We'll make that happen. AlleyRoseFragrances.com, AlleyRoseFragrances.com. And again, remember to use the promo code InsideEdge20 right here and right now. All right. We got more of Midnight Run. When we come back, we bring up Rob Manfred and Adam Silver. This World Baseball Classic, I was out of it for a bit, but my goodness, what a success that the World Baseball Classic has been and has created incredible excitement for the start of the baseball season. The NBA has tried to create gimmicks that have not landed anywhere as well as the baseball gimmicks. Is it safe to say right now Rob Manfred is having a more successful tenure as a professional sports commissioner than Adam Silver? We'll talk about that on the other side. Plus, Miami of Ohio, they move on. They were the last team to qualify for the NCAA tournament. What would you consider a successful tournament run for them? They entered in 31-0 from the regular season record. What would be a successful run for the Red Hawks? We'll talk about them, plus Unpack Wednesday, all that coming up. Double A here with you. This is Midnight Run here on the Inside Edge Network. Stay close.
Mosser Moments Photography is a husband and wife wedding photography team based in Cleveland, owned and operated by Ryan and Hallie Mosser. For the past 10 years, they've captured more than 100 weddings across Northeast Ohio and beyond, always working together as a true two-person team. Their style centers on authentic, emotional storytelling, documenting the real moments between two people in love and creating images that feel natural, comfortable, and true to the couple. Rooted in Northern Ohio, but inspired by their travels, Ryan and Hallie bring a warm, personal approach to every wedding day. Their work blends experience, consistency, and a genuine passion for helping couples relive their best day through timeless photography. Learn more at MosserMomentsPhotography.com.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
All right, I got to tell you guys something right now. Yes, I hit the fade. Hit it correctly. I got to tell you guys something. I am so happy about my home office setup. Now, can I just explain how much, and I'll be a little bit personal here for a hot second. This time of the year, and I know, we grow up and, we're adults and things like that, and life takes over and everything of sorts. But on the sports calendar, yes, NFL Sundays is a religion within itself. It is a sports religion. There's nothing on a weekly basis better than NFL football Sundays. It's the whole process. It's the tailgating. It's just getting yourself ready. It's setting your lineups for fantasy or gambling. It's the tailgates. It's the Sunday pre. It's the Inside Edge Sunday Sports Show pregame show. Get you ready for all the football games. Excuse me, and then the games themselves. Thank goodness there are other NFL teams to enjoy, because the Browns will make you lose your hair or make it turn gray. And then there's other stuff that goes on. And then, the 425 game, which is usually the game of the week. Then the Sunday night game, it's incredible. But when it comes to an isolated time of the year annually, this stretch right here from March Madness, and for me, obviously, I'm a wrestling fan as well. So from March Madness to WrestleMania, this stretch here, this is the top stretch, in my personal opinion, on the sports calendar. Just me personally. I'm not, October is great too. October, MLB postseason, a lot of stuff. But this stretch here, and March Madness, even I'm not a weekly college basketball watcher. I'm just not. There's other things going on. I barely know the teams. I'm not even going to sit here and tell you I know about the teams now. We have an Inside Edge Network bracket challenge that we put together, is available publicly. But I don't know who from who, other than really Ohio State, whenever they come on, and Miami, but keeping track of Miami. But this stretch is fantastic. 4 games every time slot, Thursday and Friday. All the stories of, I remember, I never had a teacher when I was in high school. I never had a teacher that was like, hey, we're going to roll in the TV and watch March Madness. You kind of had to sneak it. The teachers kind of had to tell you, hey, you got to turn that off and force that boss button. You kind of have to turn that off. I remember in particular in 9th grade, I had a teacher by the name of Mr. Sullivan, and we was doing like a project in the computer lab, and all the computers in the computer lab were tracked. It's a school. Maybe it's all tracked. And, it's like, I put on a game. And back then, I'm going to show my age now. This is 2006. So back in 2006, it was a process to get on the internet. And if you remember back in the day with March Madness, when you logged into the CBS website, you had to actually wait in line to get in to the service. There was a queue. And sometimes you were waiting a solid 10 to 20 minutes to get into the queue to watch the games. And for whatever reason, if your computer crashed, your internet crashed, whatever it may be, you had to start over. So it meant something getting in that queue. And this is, back when all the games were regional, so you felt special when you got in. And Mr. Sullivan, he would obviously see the computers. He walked around and he's like, you got to cut that off. And then he does a second walk around. Hey, who's winning that Utah game? It's great stuff. Man. Then I get to college. Then I get to BG. So all those years, I remember my senior year of high school, that was my first time I was actually able to watch the afternoon windows, because I think it fell on Easter or Good Friday. So we were out of school that day. So I'm like, oh, this is what it's like to watch the 12 o'clock window. I never knew. But I remember rushing home after school and stuff, like, okay, I got to watch like the final buzzards of the afternoon session. Then we get to college. I remember in my freshman year, we had a class in the computer lab. And I think the first day we had a guest speaker, and the professor was like, hey, you guys need to make sure you behave. And supposedly she was talking to the whole class, But she only looked my way because she knew, like, I was up to something, me and my buddy. I'm like, come on, you just looking at us. There are other people in the class. But, of course, the way it was set up, the professor sat over in the corner. We were where we were. And then the guest speaker went down the aisle. And the way we sat, if the teacher's on one side, we're facing the teacher. We have computers. And then she said, make sure you turn your computer screens. So we turned to computer screens, but we tapped on our buddy, hey, get the game on. Get the game on. So we're listening. Meanwhile, there's a buzzer beater going on. We were like, yeah. Yes, we support the Fifth Amendment or whatever it was. So it's my favorite time of the year. I think I'm the only one in my friend group that truly, truly, truly loves March Madness. I've invited people in the past to my March Madness setup, and nobody really cares other than me. It's something I love. Actually, also my freshman year, I did have a friend who did love March Madness as much as I do, and he basically, my buddy Brad, he basically became my unofficial roommate for that entire weekend. And this was the first year of the CBS and Turner sports arrangement. We had like all 4 TVs stacked up. Man, that was heaven. Heaven. I did see an article, I think it was from Sports Illustrated. Think about like how much streaming has like taken over everything. And then we'll get to some of the other stuff here in a second. How streaming has taken over everything. Except March Madness. It's crazy, but in 2026, for like the last 15 years, the tournament schedule has basically been the same. 4 games on CBS, 4 on TBS, 4 on TNT, 4 on True TV. After you get past the yearly, what's True TV jokes, you don't need streaming to watch the games from start to finish. If you want to watch a blowout, you can watch a blowout. If you want to watch whatever teams, you can watch them. And because it's 4 channels, if you want a phenomenal television setup where you see all 4 games at one time, it's sports heaven. You can't beat it. It's my favorite time of the year. If I didn't have a work from home job, this would be automatic PTO days. But I have a work from home job, so I can see it. So there you go. Now, I would tell you that, again, I know what to expect, but I don't. What I do know is that Miami of Ohio, they won today in the first 4. By the way, the first 4, a concept that maybe the NCAA intended to be a little bit bigger than what it has become. I'll say this year, probably the most entertaining first 4 that we've had. I do feel bad for Brian Anderson. His voice was shot, and he will not be able to call first-round games tomorrow. Jason Benetti will be taking his place tomorrow. But it was B.A., Charles Barkley, Dick Vitale. They called the game for like 2 minutes. The rest was like a podcast. But the game itself, Texas and NC State, that was competitive. UMBC and Howard, that was competitive. Pierreview, A&M, they won. So you do have that. And then I think the story of March Madness is going to be it's going to be Miami of Ohio. They're 31-0 in the regular season. They lost their first game in the MAC tournament to UMass, an 8th seed. And today they were kind of in a battle with SMU, particularly in that first half. But what ended up happening, they shot a first 4 record, 41 3-point attempts. They made 16 of them. They won 89-79. Miami is the second highest scoring team. to enter into the NCAA tournament this year. The highest, Alabama. Although the Alabama part will be challenged because their second leading scorer was arrested earlier in the week and has been removed from campus. That will be a story worth monitoring with Alabama, especially if they get knocked out early. But what is a successful tournament run for Miami? Now, I didn't get an opportunity to pull the graphic into StreamYard, but I will give you some reference here for teams that have started 31-0 since 1979. It has been done 6 times, Miami being the 6th team to do it. Let me give you the results of the previous 5 teams that have entered, that have started their season 31-0 and how they did in the tournament. In 1978-79, Indiana State, they started 33-0. That was the Larry Bird team. They lost in the national championship to Magic Johnson. In 1990-91, UNLV, 34-0. One of the greatest tournament teams, one of the greatest college basketball teams ever. They lost in the national championship. Wichita State started 35-0 in 2013-2014. They lost in the second round. The round of 32, they lost. The following season, the 2014-2015, Kentucky, UK, 38-0. I believe the height of the John Calipari era. Lost in the Final Four. And then Gonzaga in the pandemic tournament, 2020-2021, they started 31-0. In fact, they went into the national championship undefeated, 31-0. They lost in the national championship. So I'm not placing my expectations on winning the national championship for the Miami Redhawks. I'm not doing that. And I think considering the path that Miami has to take, because I would have to imagine Miami is for sure the lowest seeded team to enter in 31-0 regular season into the NCAA tournament. But I have to imagine for them, I would say they got Tennessee on Friday. I think you got to beat Tennessee. And I would imagine a second round matchup would probably be against Virginia. They're the 3 seed. If their shooting is on point, Miami, and they get to the Sweet 16, I think that would be a very successful benchmark. Now, I teased on Inside Edge Prime Time how this could have NIL ramifications. A lot of high school players, they don't know nor recognize school history. But why did all of a sudden Indiana football become relevant? Indiana football had one highly successful season, and they recruited really well. And players see immediate success. I think the same could be true here for Miami. If Miami can get to the Sweet 16, there's a 4-star recruit somewhere. There might be a 5-star recruit somewhere that might be saying, I could dominate on this team, get this team to a national championship next year, play pretty easy competition, may not have to move that far, and I can get a high NBA draft pick. I think it could be done. If Miami gets to the Sweet 16, Miami of Ohio will become the next Gonzaga, a mid-major college basketball powerhouse. But I think in order to do that, they got to beat Tennessee on Friday, and they're probably going to have Virginia on Sunday If they can get to the second weekend, Miami of Ohio, we're going to be talking about them the way that we talk about Gonzaga for the last 2 decades, a mid-major powerhouse. I mean, I think they're that special. I think it's something that they could do. Now, the cool thing about March Madness is that you can watch March Madness while enjoying the great treats from BA Sweeties. I'll tell you, all the popcorns, all the stuff that they provide, they just do a phenomenal job. It's the largest candy store in North America, and it's just amazing when you look at what they can do. They got the normal treats, they got the classic treats that you can get, but you could also try some of the special treats. They got special jelly beans. I've mentioned the cheddar popcorn. It's man. That cheddar popcorn is amazing. I definitely loved it. And I gotta go back because this weekend I'm gonna try that Buffalo Ranch popcorn. Kyle Cornell's, he kept telling me about this Buffalo Ranch popcorn. Oh yeah, we're gonna try it out. We go get after it and definitely try it. What better way to celebrate March Madness this weekend than enjoying the treats from BA Sweeties? There's nothing better. There's nothing to it. You can't beat it. Here locally, Cleveland, over 75 years of business. Here's how you can get there. Interstate 480, the Ridge Road exit, make a left on Brook Park Road. You'll be right there. And guess what? Well, wait, there's more. When you go to BA Sweeties, mention the promo code Lollipop. This is an in-store promotion only. Lollipop. And how this works, you're grabbing stuff, good. If you have an order, your cart is worth $40 or more. And you mention the word lollipop, you save $5. You get a $5 discount on your order. Again, the qualifying is $40 or more. You mention the word lollipop, you receive a $5 discount, $5 off of your order. It's a lot of great stuff. It is at BA Sweeties. It's here locally in Cleveland. If you are visiting Cleveland, let's say for a Guardians game, come to BA Sweeties. Smell the place. It's fantastic. But once you smell the place, check it out. Just a lot of cool stuff. BA Sweeties. Tell them that we sent you. More of Midnight Run right after this. In fact, we're going to talk Rob Manfred, Adam Silver, and Michael Jordan versus Michael B. Jordan. And we got flag football to discuss as well. Anthony Alford here with you. This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network.
Clean energy, bold flavors, no jitters. See why people won't shut up about Dubby. Clean energy, no jitters or crash. Helps you lock in and focus. Over 15 absolute fire flavors to choose from. Visit Dubby.gg and use promo code InsideEdge10.
This is Midnight Run on the Inside Edge Network. Here's your host, Anthony Alford.
All right, welcome back to the show. Here with you until 1. We have Eli. You got 9 minutes to get to the finish line. 9 minutes to get to the finish line. Coming up, Michael Jordan or Michael B. Jordan? Who's more popular in 2026? We'll talk about that in just a little bit. Also, Fanatics flag football. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. And I got my workout of the week. We got so much to cover. Rob Manfred. Now, here's the thing. My question is, after the success of the World Baseball Classic, it is my belief, it is my humble opinion that Rob Manfred has had a more successful tenure as a commissioner of a pro sports league than Adam Silver. Now, this is not a slam dunk opinion, right? We did mention Adam Silver did deliver on an historic television deal with NBC and Amazon and also Disney or ESPN. But part of that was the NBC being really desperate to get back into the NBA. Amazon desperate to add content. And even that hasn't been overly a success because the NBA was sued by Turner. They settled out of court. Obviously, there were some financial ramifications there as well, undisclosed. But I would go on to say, think about this. The World Baseball Classic loaded. It's a spring tournament. It's a spring tournament that a lot of players, even Bryce Harper, did not care for at all. Bryce Harper mentioned that, us winning the gold or winning the World Baseball Classic doesn't equal to a gold medal. Bryce Harper had me believing he didn't care about this thing. And then he tied the game in the final. How about that? With that 2-run homer, I believe it was in the 8th inning. Just incredible stuff, incredible drama. Drama in baseball in the month of March. That is how you market a product. That is success. Now, do I think baseball needs to be better with marketing itself? Sure. I think it needs to be a player-focused marketing as opposed to team-focused marketing. But concepts of United States versus the world, that stuff does work. And in fact, we don't have the television ratings result for the final. I expect it to be really high. But we do have the semifinal result, which aired on Sunday night on FS1. It did not air on Fox, the semifinal against the Dominican Republic. It aired on FS1 against the Oscars, against the NBA and NBC on Sunday. And that broadcast pulled in 7.37 million viewers. The highest viewed World Baseball Classic broadcast of all time. I have to imagine that number will be topped by the final when that number is released. It'll probably be out tomorrow. Let me take a look too. So this is according to Sports Media Watch. I have it here on the other screen here. The semifinal, the World Baseball Classic, only trailed in the television ratings the World Series last year, the Dodgers and Blue Jays, Mariners Blue Jays Game 7 of the ALCS, and Tigers Mariners Game 5 in the NLCS. That semifinal, again on FS1 against the Oscars, surpassed last year's Major League Baseball All-Star Game, which is typically the highest viewed non-postseason broadcast of the year. On FS1, the audience is the most viewed since the 2023 NLCS on TBS. We're talking cable. And the most viewed broadcast on FS1 since 2019, the Yankees Astros ALCS. The point is this. This World Baseball Classic, which started 20 years ago, Bud Selig was the main driving force behind it. It was like, okay, fine. It's just a spring training exhibition, whatever. And even for me, as little as a week ago, I was like, I kind of lost interest in this. When you see that players give a you-know-what about stuff like this, and they play hard, and that the United States versus the world concept always works, you have something. And now, take the gimmicks that Rob Manfred has rolled out compared to Adam Silver. Rob Manfred has sped up the game with the pitch clock. I know the pitch clock at first was very unpopular, but I go to the baseball games. Boy, those baseball games fly. Again, I have multiple TVs. My attention span. So for me, to not like the baseball games have never felt like a drag, ever. I give credit to Rob Manfred. The World Baseball Classic, a tournament, again, the beginning of it's a March tournament in the middle of spring training baseball. There is more momentum going into the baseball season than ever before. I see a scenario where Rob Manfred and like they're going to rewrite the television deals across the board. Everything is aligned to 2028. Nationally and locally. You got NBC broadcasting Sunday Night Baseball in opening day. There are so many things that baseball is doing right. And it's not all perfect, but there's a ton of things they're doing right. Meanwhile, Adam Silver is 3 years into this in-season NBA Cup? We're years into this. Nobody cares about the NBA Cup. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about the fun courts. Nobody cares about the cup play. Nobody cares if you go to Vegas and it's turned into a burden if you win it or even finish a second because it's an extra regular season game. No one cares. You got Inside the NBA trashing the product. And again, I love basketball. I love Inside the NBA. Trashing the product. I'm not saying be all P's and Q's or whatever, but come on. And we're having issues trying to figure out who's playing on a night in and night out basis in basketball. Again, I will stick up for a game of basketball, no problem. But it is obvious that the game has grown. Baseball has grown under Rob Manfred. The NBA here in the States have not grown under Adam Silver. In fact, it's losing its balance. I don't want that to happen. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Fanatics here. We'll go a little bit late here, but Fanatics is fantastic. And to tell you more about actually, I'll tell you about Fanatics. Fanatics is great. Fanatics is fantastic. And you want to talk about apparel that you can land and you can get at Fanatics, get it. If you're an NFL fan, lock in. Major League Baseball fan, you enjoy that World Baseball Classic, lock in. NBA, NHL. You got March Madness coming up. The soccer season with MLS is right there. If you're a WWE fan, you got to go to Fanatics. In fact, the QR code that you see in the corner of the screen, click on that, go through the website, and get that order in. You have to get that order in. And I'm telling you right now, you will be fit as we head into spring. It's going to warm up again. So you want to be in style when you have Fanatics there for you. You can't beat it. You absolutely can't beat it. But the best way to go about it with Fanatics is go to that QR code, type it in, and you'll be locked in. All the official apparel, style and profile. And again, the Inside Edge Network, proud sponsor, Fanatics proud sponsor of the Inside Edge Network. And actually, Fanatics is in the sporting news because this weekend, in fact, this Saturday, again, a loaded sports weekend, we're going to get flag football. Fanatics, flag football. The event was supposed to be in Saudi Arabia, and due to our world events, they got moved here. They got moved to the States. It's going to be in Los Angeles. A lot of stars will be involved, of course, led by Tom Brady. Gronk will be involved with this as well. And remember the beef with Gronk and Logan Paul. They're on opposite teams. Pay close attention. Obviously, flag football is going to be in the spotlight. It's a sport, and it's an Olympic sport in 2028 in Los Angeles. So it's a good preview for what we could see there. And, as we get into further weeks, I know more and more parents are, because of concussions and stuff like that, they could be pushing their kids into maybe participating in flag football instead of tackle football. Let's see how this transpires on Saturday. I actually can't wait to watch this. Because of the money that's involved here, I do think the players will take this a tad bit seriously. But a lot of stars. Saquon Barkley is one of the other guys that's going to participate in this game. So Fanatics flag football, they got that covered. Our last thing. I know we're running over. Don't care. It's 2026. And I brought up something on my personal Facebook that kind of caused some trouble. People don't want to address this. But is this man right here more popular in 2026 than the guy that doesn't have an initial in the middle of his name? This courtesy of the Tonight Show. We're talking Michael B. Jordan. Is Michael B. Jordan more popular than Michael Jordan?
I was calling him to pitch him a project, and he was like, "Oh man, that's cool, but hey, I've been working on something. How about this?"
Wow! Flipped it around.
Flipped it on me, and I was like, this is pretty cool. Let's do this. Did
you even get the picture idea?
A little bit. A little bit.
You got time.
Nah, definitely. But he gave me some ideas and some pointers on that one. But that one's still in the tuck. We're gonna get to that one. Yeah. But this one was the most important one and really, really personal for him. So I wanted to make sure I was available to be.
I remember last time you were on the show, you were telling me how great, what a mentor he was. So you're like helping you when you're directing. You asked him. I know you hate compliments, but I figured I'd throw one more in there.
I'm about to get up out of here.
No, sorry about that.
That's courtesy of the Tonight Show. Michael B. Jordan, he's an Oscar winner. Sinners. And I will admit, I have to watch. I've been watching my movies. I got to watch my movies. We're going to have a dangerous conversation here in these coming weeks and months about Michael B. Jordan. Is he more popular than Michael Jordan? And listen, I still believe when Michael Jordan walks around, you know who he is. The ball head and stuff like that. And Michael Jordan's doing his thing with NASCAR right now. In black culture, Michael B. Jordan at this moment is more popular. In 2026, he is one of the undisputed. He's emerging as an undisputed acting king. Now, his GQ score is not as high as Michael Jordan across the mainstream scope yet. But give it a year and it will be. Give it a year and it will be. The more relevant Michael Jordan in our society will soon be Michael B. Jordan. That is an unbelievable accomplishment. And he's still young. I mean, I think he's only 39. So the key with the GQ is you got to, when you walk down the street, people know who you are. Within the black community, I think that's true with Michael B. Jordan. Across the overall mainstream spectrum, not yet, but he's close. He's right there. My workout of the week, shoulder presses. You got to get all that going. You got to get that work in order and everything. Shoulder presses. That's my workout of the week. And remember, too, as we kind of talked about before, we talked about this before. Lighter weight matters more than heavyweight. You gotta do the workouts correctly. If you have bad form, bad technique, you're gonna hurt yourself. You don't want to do that. Lighter weight. If you could jog or run, great, but walking matters more than anything. You can burn so many calories just walking down the street to the gas station or just walking on the treadmill. You can burn a ton of calories doing that. But my workout of the week was best. You can tell I don't have a producer because we went 6 minutes over the top. But we're out of time. I got to go to bed. You do too. March Madness. Can't wait. We still got programming, by the way, on the Inside Edge Network. Inside Edge Primetime. Chad Bryan will be on. Somebody will join him. Or he might fly solo. We'll see what happens. But Inside Edge Primetime tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I'll be back on the network Friday morning for Side Hustle Wrestling Podcast. Myself and Kyle Cornell. We got a ton of wrestling things to get to. And, of course, Mike Check Take 2 with David Ruiz and Autumn Chisholm coming up Friday night. That will do it for me. No main event on Sunday. We're playing the music for it. As my two co-hosts and buddies are both out of town, so I'll take the day off as well. But we'll be back with you Monday for a Midnight Run right here on the Inside Edge Network. Follow us at Inside Edge Net across all of our social platforms and go to our website, InsideEdgeNetwork.com. Have a great day, everybody.